Hey everyone, Scott here, and today in this video we're going to be going over my Anniversary Box 2021 reprint predictions. We're going to see exactly how badly I did with predicting what's going to be reprinted in the upcoming Anniversary Box. I made a video all the way back in April, so 4 months ago now. It was literally just a few days after the Anniversary Box had been added to the product page on the official website, so I got in there very early, and I guess we'll see later in this video that was probably a mistake on my part. So yeah, let's just jump into it and start looking at what my predictions were. So first up we had, this was just me explaining that the Anniversary Box had been put up on the official website. It was actually going to be happening this year again, which I don't think was in doubt, but I was just making people aware of it. I can see there the original release date was going to be August, which is this month as I'm recording this and as this video is going to go up. It's not actually coming out this month, it's going to be next month, which at this point is pretty standard. I feel like most sets have like a 50-50 chance of actually coming out in the original month they were announced for, so not much of a surprise there. Then we get to the rules that I put in place for myself, and this is where the problems start. Well, actually the problems start with, as I mentioned before, I made this video 4 months ago, and a lot has happened in the intervening months. Like if I'd made these predictions, say, 2 weeks ago, when they started revealing the new cards for the Anniversary Box, I probably would have done a lot better. I'm not saying I would have got many more right, if any, but there's definitely some cards on this list that I wouldn't have included, but obviously I didn't know that 4 months ago. Yeah, so the first thing was I was following last year's colour distribution in terms of the predictions I was making. That ended up being completely wrong. There's not much rhyme or reason of how they've decided the colour distribution this year. Like, there's no multicolour cards in there. And you would think, okay, there's 20 reprints, there's 5 colours, not including multicolours, 4 of each, but no, they haven't even done that. There's like only 2 yellow reprints, and there's like an extra blue and a black, so that's where those 2 yellow ones would have gone. Which is weird in my opinion, that they're not supporting each colour kind of equally, like they have in previous Anniversary Boxes. Really, I had no way of knowing they were going to not follow that trend this year. And then the second rule was another one that kind of burnt me, which is I wasn't going to include anything that had recently been reprinted or announced to be reprinted. So nothing from the Evolution Booster, the Player's Choice, or Collector Selection Volume 1, which is the big one. There's actually 2 cards in the actual reprints that were just reprinted in Collector Selection Volume 1, which isn't great in my opinion. Also, I should say, if you haven't seen what the reprints actually are, I'll put a link in the description of this video to a Reddit post that has an image with all the reprints we are getting on it. And I also will be doing a video where I go over the reprints we're actually getting and give my opinion on those. That'll be a separate video to this. This one I just wanted to focus on kind of my predictions, what the reprints were going to be. And then the third rule I had was that I wasn't going to include any cards with hard restrictions. So any cards that needed like a specific leader or a part of any like one deck in particular. I think that holds true with the reprints that have been announced. I don't think there's too many in there that are like specifically only for like a single deck. I think the one with the most restrictions is the Yamcha, which I think all it needs is like a red Earthling leader, and there's plenty of those at this point. So yeah, I think that third rule was probably the only rule that ended up being correct. So then I'm talking about the 3 different levels of reprints, like good, meh, and kind of bad. If you want a more in-depth kind of explanation of this, you can go ahead and check out the original video. I'll put a card in the top right-hand corner of the screen now, so you can check that out if you didn't see it all the way back in April. So yeah, let's just move on and start to talk about the actual reprints that I predicted. So first up we have Violet Rays. And as I mentioned before, this is one of the cases where I got burnt for the fact that I made these predictions 4 months ago. If I'd made these predictions, like I say, 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have put Violent Rays in there, because this is a card that I was actually right about it was going to get a reprint. I just thought it was going to get reprinted in this, and instead it's been reprinted in the most recent tournament pack, which is interesting that they've started putting reprints in the tournament packs. It's probably a good idea in my opinion, but it's weird that they've only put like 2 reprint cards in there. So yeah, I guess I also in this video was putting up the prices of the cards currently. I'm not going to go through and like see what the prices are now. I'm sure a lot of them haven't changed because they haven't been reprinted, whereas something like this Violent Rays, I think the price probably has gone down by now with it being reprinted. So yeah, the next screen I was basically just saying it's not too soon for them to reprint Violent Rays based on last year's anniversary box. So the second reprint I predicted in red was Frieza Death's Embrace. This is my kind of like middle of the road prediction. Obviously this isn't in the anniversary box this year, and it's not been reprinted the same way that Violent Rays was. I'm not necessarily going to go through and say like my predictions would have been a lot better than the ones we actually got, although in this case I do actually believe that. I think this would have been a much better reprint than, say, something like the Yamcha. I know a lot of people aren't happy with that. And then for like the bad reprint in red, because I was going to do one for each colour, I just chose this Goku Nimbus Voyager. It's from, I believe, the Surge expansions, and they have done expansion cards in previous anniversary boxes. I believe last year's anniversary box had, there was like a Goku from one of the expansions and the Hellas super combo as well. I think this isn't even the only expansion reprint that I predicted, but I guess we'll see that when we get to some of the later ones. So yeah, this, like I say, hasn't been reprinted, isn't in the anniversary box. Obviously, I was only picking a bad card to kind of fit with the theme of choosing one bad card for each colour, but this is worse than any of the reprints we've got, I think. But that's kind of what I intended with this choice. So yeah, then we come to the blue reprints, and the first one I predicted, the kind of like good one of the set I predicted, was Baby the Unknown Parasite. And this is another one where it's kind of right in the sense that they did end up reprinting a 3 specified cost blue unison. It's just obviously I picked this baby, whereas in the actual set it's the Gogeta, the championship Gogeta, which is probably a better choice overall, because I know those championship cards came out at a time when a lot of places were in lockdown, so there wasn't events going on, so they weren't distributed as kind of widely as maybe they should have been. So to give people a chance to kind of pick them up in this year's anniversary box, I guess good choice. Still do think this baby needs a reprint, especially with +2 unisons being a lot more useful now, with Spirit Boost being a thing. So with a unison like this, you could +2, draw the card, and then you can Spirit Boost at least once during your turn, and you're still gaining markers on the unison, as opposed to like losing markers constantly. Hey, I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's more reprint sets coming up, like the Mythic Booster. Maybe this could end up being in there. We'll just have to wait and see. So Mafuba was the kind of middle of the road choice I had. And honestly, I'm surprised with all the like extra reprints we've been getting lately that Mafuba hasn't got one. I know it's been reprinted once where they changed the white in the background to green. I believe that was in like an event pack or something like that. I'm just genuinely surprised that Mafuba hasn't got a reprint. I think I said this in the original video. They could depict like another time that the Mafuba has been used in the artwork. I think would be really cool as like an alternate art version of the card. I think a lot of people would be happy to see Mafuba be reprinted at some point. It's a card that still sees play in some blue decks. I mean, I was just using it this weekend in a blue deck I was playing, so would have been nice to have a alternate art reprint, but hey, I guess Bandai didn't agree with that one. And then for my kind of like bottom of the barrel reprint in blue, I chose Mr. Boo the Mischievous. And this is another one where I feel like, give myself a little bit of credit, I did actually predict that we would get a 1-cost battle card negate that plays itself and has the World Tournament tag. I just chose this blue one rather than the red one, which is the Vidal, which is the one we're actually getting in the anniversary box. I did originally think about putting the Vidal in the 3rd slot of the red predictions, but after I chose this Mr. Boo, I went back and changed it, and that, like I say, screwed me over, because I would have had one right prediction there if I'd stuck with that Vidal originally. But hey, who knows, maybe this Mr. Boo will get a reprint in the future, and I'll be kind of vindicated again. I don't know, I haven't really been vindicated with things like Violent Rays actually being reprinted, because I didn't predict the right place for it being reprinted. But how was I supposed to know they were going to start putting reprints in the tournament packs? And then we get to the green reprints, which was kind of the obvious choice, I felt like at the time, was Dormant Potential Unleashed. And this, again, like Violent Rays, has actually been reprinted. It's been reprinted twice. Once in the event pack and once as a winner card. And I actually have both of those. I guess if you didn't see the video where I pulled my Dormant Potential from the event pack and showed off the winner pack version, I'll put that in the top right, a card to that video. Like Violent Rays, another one where they did reprint it, and it was in need of a reprint. It's just, I thought they were going to wait till the anniversary box, but they didn't. They went ahead and reprinted it a lot sooner, which is better in the long run, that we got it a lot sooner rather than later. Then this is another one that I predicted that did end up getting reprint. This was reprinted in Event Pack 8 along with Dormant Potential that we just looked at. I think my reasoning behind this one was that they were going to do it with the horizontal style that they did with a few of the field cards. It's interesting that they've completely dropped that idea now of having the horizontal cards. They did it 3 times, I believe. The 2 field card reprints and then Heroine's Lineage, and they just have not gone back to it since. I thought it was an okay idea, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see it come back in a future set. And then for the Mare reprint, I went for Father Son Kamehameha. I just thought this would look really cool with an alternate art. They could do something really interesting with it. Obviously, this is a much worse card than any of the green reprints we are getting. So for the big yellow reprint, I chose Giant Ball. Again, not to... I keep saying I'm trying not to compare my predictions to the actual reprints, but I end up doing it every time anyway. I think this would have been a better reprint than Sane Instincts again, which has literally just been reprinted in Collector's Selection Volume 1. I would have much preferred to see this card, especially with how... I mean, there's a bit of a selfish element to it that this is really good in Mecha Freezer, which is one of the decks I play. Although I wasn't playing it at this point. Actually, come to think of it, how long ago did Mecha Freezer come out? It might have just come out when I made these predictions. So, I wasn't playing it at that point, but I have since started to play it. And like I say, this would have been a really good reprint for me specifically to get something for Mecha Freezer, especially with the Universe 9 Assemble being banned now. Just makes the other kind of yellow extra cards more important in the deck, so being able to have some of this would have been nice. So the next prediction I made, and funnily enough another card I run in Mecha Freezer, is Vegeta, User of Fury. I think this is another one that could probably do with a reprint. Especially, like I said, with it being used in Mecha Freezer, the price was quite high for an expansion card. In fact, in order to complete my playset, it was actually cheaper for me to buy another one of the expansions rather than just buy 2 of this guy as singles. So that's what I ended up doing. So yeah, this is another one that I think could probably be in with a reprint in the future. Maybe in the Mythic Booster, maybe in a future event pack, who knows. I also think they could do something kind of interesting with the art on this one, because it doesn't necessarily have to always be Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. They could choose Vegeta from another part of the series and kind of depict that in the artwork. I think that would be kind of cool. And then for the bad reprint in yellow that I predicted, I went with March of the Great Apes. I feel like I kind of picked this because there was something with Great Apes around the time that I made these predictions. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it might have been something in the Evolution Booster, maybe? There was a new Great Ape card or something, so I was like, maybe they could give this a go as like a reprint. Maybe in the artwork show a different time that somebody turned into a Great A. Again, the actual reprints we got better than this, but like I say, I was trying to pick something bad. Then we come to another card that I think is probably due a reprint, which is Kotsukai. I know this is such a good card at the moment with the amount of like battle card negates there are that are like floodgates that are all 20k power or less. So like Topo, Poutine, the new Oceanus, even the blue Gohan from the baby deck. Those are all like 20k or less. So this card completely like stops your opponent using them during your turn, basically, unless they want to send 2 cards from the hand to the warp, which is pretty big price to pay, especially on top of something like Topo, where you already have to get rid of a card. You're basically getting rid of 3 cards at that point to use Topo. So yeah, this is one that I think, again, maybe the Mythic booster will see a reprint of this guy. Could be an upcoming event pack. Could be literally anywhere that they reprint this. I'm not going to try and guess again where this is going to get reprinted, because as we've seen so far, I'm really not good at making predictions. So I'm not going to try and keep at it. It's just a recipe for disaster at this point. And then the other black reprint I predicted was Demigra, or Beyond Darkness Demigra. So this was, if I remember correctly, in the video I was basically making the point that I think they're going to start reprinting secret rares, which is true. They are going to start reprinting secret rares, but they're not going to do it until the upcoming Mythic booster. So again, I was kind of right in my reasoning. I was just didn't predict the correct place. Obviously, I thought they would experiment with reprinting secret rares in the anniversary box, and I even think I said that they could like short print it and have it be like a bit more rare than the other cards. It didn't have to be reprinted at the same ratio as all the others, I guess you would say. The Mythic booster is where the secret rare reprint, or the first secret rare reprint, is going to be. I guess technically not the first secret rare reprint, because we've had some in the revision pack, but the first like proper alternate art reprints of secret rares is going to be, like I say, in the Mythic booster. I think Demigra could be one of them. Again, I just said I wasn't going to make more predictions, but I think Demigra could be one of the 2 secret rares being reprinted in the Mythic booster. I don't know, I may end up doing a whole video of Mythic booster predictions, despite how badly this one went. I think maybe I'll give it another go, see if I can do it a bit closer to the actual release time then, so I have a better understanding of what has been already reprinted. So yeah, maybe look out for that on the channel in the future. This is another one where, if we wanted to be generous, I could say I was half right, in the sense that we are actually getting a black Demigra reprinted in the anniversary box. It's just going to be the Dropbox 3 Demigra, not the secret rare from set 4, I think it is. Again, I think that would be kind of generous to me to count that as any kind of correct prediction on my part. And then get to the point where, again, I kind of screwed myself by predicting multicolor reprints. There are no multicolor reprints, so these are all automatically off the table as being even potentially correct for that reason alone. These cards I do think still need to get a reprint. I know I've said that for a lot of the cards that I chose that they're not reprinting, but these ones in particular, if we do ever get back to kind of more of a balance between multicolor and monocolor decks. Right now it seems like Bandai are still pushing the idea of monocolor decks, but if, like I say, we ever get back to them, I think these will become even more important, and the prices on them have not gone down since. A lot of these cards are either exactly as expensive as they were, or even more so, the price has gone up, despite the fact that a lot of the strongest decks at this point are monocolor decks. So these aren't the most useful cards at the moment. They're still incredibly rare, I guess, with them being the like campaign rares of Dropbox 5, which was another one that was notoriously kind of short printed. So there's not too many of these guys out there. But these are really important. Maybe more so than the next set of cards we're going to see, because these let you kind of play multicolour decks without losing a turn. Because a way that multicolour decks were kind of working before is your turn 1 play would always come in rest mode. You'd play a multicolour card in rest mode, and then if you were going second, you'd attack with your leader, and that was it for your first turn. And that was okay when everyone was playing multicolour, but now with the kind of like balance kind of shifting more to monocolour, that is a big issue now at the moment. If you are trying to do a multicolour deck, is you basically just don't have a turn 1, whereas your opponent most of the time will have something they could do turn 1, and that really puts you on the back foot kind of tempo wise. Whereas these guys let you charge, maybe like, say we're doing a green-yellow deck, you could charge a green turn 1, maybe even charge a yellow turn 2, and then put this down like turn 3, and it's not going to come in rest mode because you warp 1 card of each colour from your drop area. So, like I say, it allows you to have that flexibility in your energy and having the multicolour energy without sacrificing like an entire turn to do it. So it's a lot better, like I say, tempo-wise. And then the other set of cards I predicted were the check energies. Called check energies because they check if you have a multicolour in your energy, and if you do, they get rid of their energy exhaust skill. Again, I think I made these predictions because at the time, back in April, the most recent, or the latest Unison Warrior series booster that had been added to the product page was the 5th one, which I think was Cross Spirits, which has just come out. So I was assuming the kind of Unison Warrior series was going to come to an end, and that maybe in the next series they were going to go to more of a balance between multicolour and monocolour decks. But obviously this is another one where if I'd made the predictions a lot more recently, I would know that the Unison Warrior series, I mean technically I guess this is a different like series because the Unison Warrior boost, but it's kind of more like a sub-series really. So yeah, maybe had I known that, I would have made different choices in terms of these slots. Maybe I would have either gone for different multicolour cards, or I would have just not gone for any multicolour cards. I guess we'll never know, because like I say, I made these predictions 4 months ago. Who knows what I would have done if I'd done them more recently. I'm not going to sit here and say I would have got like 100% correct had I made them more recently, but I feel like I would have made some better decisions at least. And that's it for my predictions, and that's it for this video. And like it says on the screen there, I don't expect you to put your own predictions in the comment section now. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like on it. That really helps me out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to be notified when new videos come out on the channel. And thanks for watching.